Hello everybody, welcome back to my studio. My name is Elke and today I would like to show you how to make a wreath. And there's different kinds of ways of making a wreath. For example, around Christmas time we make often the hand-tied wreath with candles on it, or decoration for Christmas. Or you use an already made up wreath and then you decorate it with ribbon, dried flowers, fresh flowers. Or what I'm using today, which is an Oasis wreath. Oasis is the medium that you use for fresh flowers. It also comes for dried flowers, but this one is for fresh flowers. So it's an already made up wreath. It has a bottom, a plastic bottom. You can buy them like that at craft stores or flower shops. And then this one was in water to soak up all the water. Always a very important idea or an important thing to do with Oasis for fresh flowers. When you put it into the water, into a bucket, don't push it down. Fill the bucket with water, put your Oasis on top of it, and then you can let it go very slowly down, because then it will really soak up all the water that it needs. If you push it down, sometimes it gets wet on the outside, it looks good, but then at the end it's still dry on the inside. So what I did is I went through my garden. I found some roses, which is called hot cocoa. I have daisies from the road, we have chives from my garden, sage from my garden. What is this? Golden oregano, that's right. Then I have Allium hair, we have Elke mollis, ivy, some Simicifuga leaves, some cedar from my hedge. Really, literally everything that comes across. You can go to the flower shop or to the market and get some mixed bundles and just look for stuff that maybe is easy to divide. Like I'll show you here with an Elke, for example. All of these little divisions here, you can just make them shorter and then put them all into your wreath. We need a few little leaves. You can also use moss to cover up the Oasis. I found some birch, what are they called? Fruits? Maple fruits. We have some berries. Those are berries from elderberries. But like I said, I mean, whatever you find in your garden, or maybe you have a hedge that you can trim a little bit. Important is we need some leaves for the shape of it, and then we can just fill it up, and it works better when you have smaller flowers. So that's pretty much the main trick of it. So let's just start with the Oasis here. This one is very square and blocky. I like to cut a little bit the edges off. And I do that because it's easy for me to cover them up too. It's a little bit more, makes it more round. So I do that on the outside, and I do it on the inside too. I do love to actually work on that little Lazy Susan, because as you just saw, it's very easy to work around. So you could just turn it on you and then just look at all sides, especially a round project like a wreath. So, and often what I do is with any stuff that has a shape, a particular shape, I start with the shape. So I take leaves and I start going around on the inside and on the outside. So I actually have the shape at the end. It's hard to just do that at the end. So when you start a wreath like this and you already go around, then you will really show people the shape of the project that you're doing. So leaves like that are divided like this, you can actually take them into smaller pieces. Just make small pieces, go around, tuck them in, and it doesn't have to be one kind of leaf or flower that goes all around. It just gives an uniformed look. If you have different kinds of leaves, different kinds of green, you can do that too. But for me, important is to build the shape of the wreath first. So I'm doing this right now. with these Simisifuga leaves. Those are really lovely because they have a great color, almost like a chocolate brown. So what I'm also watching for doing a wreath like that is when the stems are really long, make sure they're not too long, because you put them into an Oasis and they come out the other end, which means they wouldn't get any water because they are sticking in the air on the inside. So, you know, just don't make them too long, but obviously good enough and long enough so they get a good hold in the Oasis. So, and you just you cut your leaves about all in the same length, give them a nice little cut, and you put them in. And it doesn't have to be super exact, because you will, while you're working on your project, you can always add on when you see that it's missing somewhere. So that's a good start. And then the next thing I would do is, with smaller, shorter greenery, I would go on the inside and cover that a little bit too. Yeah, important is always to give it a nice cut, last longer. So, see this one, my Lazy Susan has a black bottom here, so I might just take that off right now. Oops. Because the Simisifuga leaves are dark, and then so I can see much better what I'm doing with a lighter background. Okay, so maybe a little bit of my cedar hedge. And I go on the top around, just rough everywhere to fill it a little bit. Small pieces. Yeah, it's really, there's so much cool stuff out there right now. I went for a walk last night and just took a bag, and we went to the park. It was like really like it's not even a park, it was an area that will be developed. So there's, you know, cut down trees and bushes, and so I found these elderberries there. Just took a few of those ones, because it's not that I'm stealing them from somebody's yard. They are literally in a property that won't be there sooner than later, which is kind of sad, but it is. So, put those in, and like I said, you keep filling when you work on it. So I will put a few little leaves on the inside, shorter ones, really short, because when the leaves are too big on the inside, you're literally closing the hole, and that wouldn't, like, it takes away from the fact that we're making a wreath and not just a bouquet. So you can cut out the tip of a leaf and just use the two outer ones. So this is more or less to cover the inside of the Oasis. It will be harder for you to do that when you're already halfway done with your bouquet. So that's why I like to just make the front, the outside and the inside, and then I start filling the middle, and then it's way easier for me to get to these spots here. Yeah, Simisifuga, cool plant, easy to work with, good for flower bouquets, like in hand-tied bouquets too. It's a nice sturdy stem and gives you a nicer outer edge. So. Yeah, and like I said, it's always important when you cut your stems, if you push them into the Oasis, and you feel that you just kinked it, you have to take it out and give it a new cut, because it will get tired very soon, and it won't be good for your bouquet. So let's put those back. A few more. So what I try to do when I go around is that I kind of find the balance. So I don't put all the greeneries on one side now. You know, put them in, turn it around, and kind of go in the opposite, and just make it nice and round and even. I do use the cedar hedge greenery quite often because it's nice and bushy, and somehow it feels, you know, it's local. It's like we have cedar here a lot, and yeah, I can connect really. It makes it very natural looking because it reminds me of the outdoors here. So if you use local bushes and greenery, that makes it even more special because it's from around here. So let's just use a little bit of our cute little lady's mantle. We can make them relatively short. So then the next thing I'm gonna use is the roses, because I want them to be nicely distributed through the wreath, because they're main item for this piece here. Let's just start here. So what I did is I use the smaller roses, not the really big open one, because this is a smaller wreath, and then you have to kind of stay in the dimensions of this wreath, so it's not getting too big. You can even use very small buds, put them nicely next to it. You can also just clean it up a little bit and just get rid of the outer petals. Relatively short. I could feel a bit stuck, so yeah. Like I said, it always is a good idea to really concentrate when you put them in, that you could feel if they actually got a little hold on the Oasis. I'll put a smaller one next to it, and it gives it a little bit of a three-dimensional look. Here's a really open one, put the smaller one beside it, and even a little bit of the buds. Yeah, so this is really nice. Gonna go on the edge. Maybe here's another one. We have, yeah. So now I really want to fill more. There's Oasis stuff that I want to fill. I have this beautiful, this is quite a cool material, and it's easy to separate, which is this golden oregano. I love it because it has that really bright green, and it has a little bit of a fragrance. So I just kind of cut it into smaller pieces, and when you have a plant like this that has these levels, cut it right above the greenery where it splits. So you take that out, and then you don't see on that part that you cut it off, because it's right above the next leaves here. So it's just a really cool way to use a long stem for many small pieces. Look at that, it's just lovely. It's almost like a yellow green, golden oregano. Maybe that's why. Okay. And always make sure that you check out all the areas that all the oasis is covered. It has to be covered around. I see, I could feel it's not going in, so this one needs to be shorter. And sometimes, you know, it gets so short you can't use it anymore, but if it's not grabbing onto the oasis, it won't get water, so don't do it. So, what's really cool on the lady's mantle, or also is the floofiness. It's almost like a baby's breath in green, right? Okay, let's just see. Can we use berries? Should we use berries? I love berries. Okay, let's put some in here. Oh yeah, here in the middle I'm using very short ones because I really would like to show the inside circle. So the longer it is, it just kind of grows together and then you won't see it, and I don't like that. So just make sure that you see them. Oh yeah, are there more? Elderberries come also in black, pretty cool. But for this one, you know, I found red, and I just kind of, I didn't really look exactly for the colors or anything, but you know, I see what's available, and then eventually I'm going for a theme. And so with the red roses or the hot cocoa rose, and then those berries and the green, I thought that's gonna look very cool together. So yeah, you don't need a Lazy Susan if you do your own project, but you can, and it definitely helps. So let's see how our daisies would look like. Oh my goodness, how cute are they? And to keep it nice and alive, you know, I put them in different levels, not all the same, so it doesn't look like it's all caked onto it. Often have 2 or 3 close together. And then I again move around so they are not all at the same side. And so it looks round. Anyway, this is a big one. Big ones I usually try to make a little bit shorter to fill, and then have something light and small higher up and above, which makes it a little bit more alive. This one doesn't want to go, so well, you're out. There you go. So now I have this side here. Now I need definitely a little bit something over here. A little bit coming from the inside. Seems to be too big for me now here. Too short. later on, when the daisy flowers kind of are almost done, you can actually take the flower and just pull out all the white petals, and then you just use the yellow button. It's a very cute idea, actually. You know, don't need it right here in this one, but I will definitely use it up. So what else do we have? We do have also my allium, allium hair. That's so cute. It's a flower bulb. You plant it in the fall, and yeah, it's blooming right now. Look at those ones. Those are so cool. So I like with those ones, I like that the inside kind of has almost that color of the hot cocoa, that reddish one, but then they look like they have a bad hair day. Make it very playful, I think. And always look, you know, that it's round. Just make sure, and you have the power to make flowers shorter or longer, and then so you keep them in the size you need them to keep the shape of your wreath. Smaller ones can be a little bit higher, sticking out there. Yeah, this makes it really playful and cute. Love it. So here I have a really big hole. I could really see the Oasis stuff. A little bit of greenery needs to go in here. Oh yeah, here too, there's a little bit of a hole here. What else do we have? Oh, we have beautiful sage leaf. I think the idea I had first was using them at the beginning when I did the outer ring, but I didn't, and so now I'm just gonna, instead of taking it all around, I just use some spots where I put them in. I just think they give me a little bit of a three-dimensional texture in there too. It's very cute, and it's that really cool green sage of the sage. Again, another smell. It's almost like a herb wreath with roses. Again, make sure you go all around so it's nice and round. And if you decide to put them in the inside, use the smallest one you can find so you don't close the hole. And maybe just 2 or 3. Really small ones. Here's another small one. I think for a wreaths are always really endless when it comes to material. Whatever you find, you can make a mixed wreath with all the materials that are out there, because it's all small stuff that you can use. All these small little pieces. Look at these ones. I mean, we don't need them here because I think it's a small wreath and it might be too much. Those are those maple fruits. We could use the allium balls, but you know, we could, or we just leave it all in that red shape. Let's just keep that for now. And a few more daisies. And like you see here, I had planned to use some ivy. With ivy, I always want to find some very fine strings so they're light and fluffy when it comes, you know, to a project. Just to put them over. Often use the front and the back to put it in because I want it to go around. Find a little spot where I can put it in and then play with the leaves how they fall. Okay, I think you get the idea here how we just kind of keep filling with materials, keep filling the little holes. Just go around, make sure you keep it in a round shape. And just floof it up with little nice small material that give you a little bit of a playful look, which is the ivy for me. Ivy is really a really cool thing that I often use because it just makes it so natural looking. But again, also gives me this playful look. And of course you can afterwards decorate your wreath on top of a plate, a wooden plate of some sort, maybe even a ceramic plate, or you leave it on something like this, a nice tablecloth, whatever it is. I do like it on some kind of a plate of some sort because it might be wet, and on the furniture I don't like wet furniture. Okay, so I hope this is something that inspired you to get yourself one of those Oasis rings. You get them at the craft stores or the flower shops, and then you just keep filling them. Start with the outer edge and then the inner edge just to cover it up. And then you go, you know, and just kind of spread out the main flowers that you're using and then start filling and just kind of a little bit here, a little bit there. Okay, I hope you like that. And if you like what you see here, please subscribe to my channel and please push that little bell because then you will get a notification every time I put some videos online. Okay, hope you like it and enjoy.